She's independent, she's a role model, she saves lives.
A lot of addicts think that they're alone. And by her sharing her story made me know that I wasn't alone.
Now she's 17 years sober. How does that make you feel?
Make me feel good. She came a mighty long way.
It's gotten so good that sometimes I forget that she was even an addict sometimes.
My goal was to come back and pursue my career. I always wanted to be a nurse.
Okay.
So I was going to go to Coppin State College. I did enroll in there, but then somebody introduced me to something called cocaine. I did the cocaine. It numbed all my feelings. You know, I didn't feel guilty. I didn't have any shame. And it just took me to a place that I've always been looking for, somewhere where I didn't have to feel. And it numbed all of my feelings. God had a plan for me, and it was at the point where he stopped letting me run my own plan. And they sent me to a place called Chrysalis House that saved my life.
My mom says that she wasn't really attached to me in active addiction and we wasn't that close. And from my perspective, it's different because I feel like that's when we were our closest because I took care of her. I was able to be there. I know she would disappear for weeks or whatever the case may have been, but I was able to take care of her and she needed me. And when she got sober, it kind of felt like she didn't need me. So it kind of was like, I was there for you and now you're sober, you don't need me anymore. But my childhood, it was, well, first of all, I didn't even know that it was a bad childhood until I got with my Aunt Dee Dee. So,
Do you remember that age, like when you got with?
I got with my Aunt Dee Dee at 11. But I didn't know it was a bad childhood because I lived in McCullough Homes. Everybody's mother got high. So that wasn't abnormal that everybody's mother was disappearing and we all was at each other's house. So I didn't know. I mean, it became, I think, when I'd be home for weeks at a time and no food's in the refrigerator, that's when I started like, okay, what am I going to eat? And thank God that my grandmother lived in the next court and my aunt Tutaw's mom lived in the next court, so I would go there and eat with her. But I didn't like going there because I was scared because if I go over there and my mom comes home and I'm there, she'll know I'm over there and she won't come get me. So I would try to stay home as long as I could without the food and stuff, eat at school, so that way when she came home I could be there and maybe I'll get to see her and maybe she'll stay a little longer if she sees me there. And then I can remember when I would be at Tutaw's house, I would sit up every night and wait for her to yell through the courts. Because when she was coming, when she would be gone for like 3 weeks at a time, she'll come through and be like, "Boo-say," like real loud. And that was what she, her nickname for me. And I would get up like, "Oh, Zoe, that's my mom, I'm going. And I just wanted to be with her. It didn't matter where we were going, what situation was being. I remember one time we went on Pennsylvania Avenue, we was at this crack house. I mean, everybody was getting high, different floors. And I sat in that chair the whole time while she got high, and that's where I wouldn't want to have been no other place but right there.
When you think about the height of your battle with drugs, right? Mm-hmm. Think about the height of your drug addiction. Can you explain to me, what was your relationship like with Kiara, your daughter Kiara at that time?
Well, you know, Carl, it wasn't really no relationship. You know, I had her just because I wanted to make my father proud of me. I said, let me have a baby. But there was no relationship. You know, once she was born, I started doing heroin and crack cocaine, so there was no relationship at all. You know, Kiara basically raised herself. You know, I didn't take her to school. She missed her first year of kindergarten, and she was just running the streets of Baltimore. She was being her own mother, you know, and I was out there, you know, doing crack cocaine and heroin. So.
Well, you know, I remember, you know, the first short story, and we had a lot of communication about just talking about your relationship with Kiara. We touched on it, you know, a little bit, but now we're here to, you know, talk about it more in depth. So, I guess a follow-up question to that would be, when you handed Kiara over, because I remember in the first short story we were in Baltimore, we were at the McCullough Homes projects, and you told me, you said you stayed sober during that 9-month span when you were pregnant, and then after you gave birth to Kiera, that was when you handed her over and you were off to the races back, right into back with your drug addiction. And you, matter of fact, you told me, you said there was a bag of heroin waiting for you after you left the hospital, right? So who did you hand Kiera over to at that time?
Well, I handed over to a good friend of mine. Her name was Karen, and we were living in Park Heights, and what I did was, I was like, I don't know what to do with this baby, I had a baby, I wasn't ready for a baby, I was in the beginning of my disease of addiction, so I said, I'm gonna give her to somebody who's gonna take care. I had no kind of connection or bond with her, because I didn't have a connection or bond with myself, and after I did that, Kiera was just, it was her baby, she had became connected to that family, because her mother was in and out, I was available. I can remember Kiera's favorite song that I used to play when I wanted to snort heroin and I want her to be quiet. She used to sing, her first song was Ice, Ice Baby, because that was my way of distracting her so that I could snort heroin and have some peace from a crying baby. So she learned how to sing really early.
Okay. So like you said, when you had that, before Karen took over Kiera and became her guardian, there was no conversation. Like you said, you didn't really have like a sit-down conversation with Karen to say, listen, this was going on. Did she know what was about to take place? Did she know she was going to become like the sole guardian of her at that particular moment in time?
It's so funny. We were both getting high together. Karen used to use as well, but she was more of the nurturing. Yeah, she was real nurturing, and for me, I was afraid. I'm wrapped up in disease of addiction. I got this little girl who wants me to be her mom. When she was born, I didn't. The first disconnect was after she was born. I went through so much pain, and they said, "Do you want to hold the baby?" I said, "No, I just want you to get this baby away from me." Okay. And then the second experience I had, where we were in a hospital, and they were bringing it in here for feeding. And I was like, I don't even know how to feed a baby. And then there was just no connection because I was afraid of being a parent. I was afraid of having a daughter. I was, because all I was focused on at the time was that I want to go get me some dope. Exactly. I need to get high, and I got to get rid of this baby. So.
I asked Cressy a long time ago to let me take and have custody of Kiera. And she didn't want to give Kiera up. She, for whatever reason, she thought, I wanted to just take her baby, So I'm like, okay. And me, I didn't want her to feel like I was trying to take her daughter, because a lot of times when people are using and family members want to take custody, they feel like, they're just trying to strip them of their child. And me, I didn't want to do that to her. I didn't want her to feel like I was trying to just take over and become Kiera's mother. So she was like, well, no, I don't want to do that. So I'm like, okay. So, we had that conversation. So I was like, okay. But I knew Kiera needed to get out of that environment, because for any child, that's not an environment that a child needs to be in. But that was her mother, and I wasn't trying to step in and, take her motherly role away from her, even though I didn't feel like she was doing what she needed to do as a mother. So we just went ahead and, I just did what I needed to do for Kiera when I could. Then it came to the point where Kiera was going place to place, but other family members would step in and do things for Kiera. But it just got to the point where I got a call, and it was like, okay, Kiera tried to kill herself. And at that point, it was no turning back.
I can remember exactly what happened. I moved to Virginia Beach with my aunt Dee Dee, and she was getting ready to walk her daughter to she was getting her daughter dressed and on her clothes, and her daughter couldn't go nowhere. I'm thinking to myself, at 6, I was going to the store for my grandmother. I could walk through the whole court. I'd be over east, over west. And I'm like, she is really walking this girl to school. And that's when I realized, like, maybe at 6, I shouldn't have been doing that. And then even now, sometimes with my parents, and when Peyton asks me to do certain stuff, and he's 7, at 7, I could stay 3 weeks in the house by myself and feed myself and bathe myself. And he's asking me to tie a shoe. And it's kind of like, it's the difference.
One day, we were just there. It was like I had a sister that I never had before. I have sisters, but I don't have sisters that I can really say we're really close. But me and Carressa really are close. I know her family. I've Her mom is like the mother that I wish I could have had the relationship with, because I didn't really have a good one with my mother. I met her sister Dee Dee. That was the first one I met, and Dee Dee just treated me like I was one of them. Well, I met Kier almost like the same year, in that 2001, 2002 year. And I don't know, I think me and Kier connected because me and my daughter didn't have the connection. Kier didn't judge me, but my daughter judged me. I was out there and she had things to say. Kier, if she had anything to say, she didn't say it to me. But she always was just, oh, there go my aunt. And I was like, oh, my baby called me Aunt Ellen. We had a bond that we just couldn't break. I didn't know that she really felt that way, and she was visiting us when we were in the Chrysalis House. And my daughter was there, and so was she, and I just had both of them. You know, Cressa was there, she worked. She knew Kiera was there, but Kiera, for just some reason, she would sleep in the bed with me. And I'd be like, girl, your mama right next. But she just never. She always stayed in the bed with me. It'd be all three of us in that same bed, a little twin bed. But it was fun, and I got attached to her, and I love her, and it's nothing that I won't do for her. I chastise her when I have to, and she knows that, but I know the relationship that she has with her mom. Her mom may not feel it at times, but Kiera loves her from the top to the bottom, and nothing could come between their relationship.
She just was happy. You know, she felt like she belonged. She just, you know, she didn't have a worry. It was like she could be a child again. You know, because when she came, you know, I had 2 kids, you know, and she came, and it wasn't like she came to be a sitter. You know, she was a child. You know, you're gonna do the things that children do. You know, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna go to summer camp in the summer, you know, we're gonna do things as a family. You're gonna have your own room, you know, you're gonna just do things that normal children do at your age. You're gonna be a child again. You know, you're not gonna have to take care of me. I'm gonna take care of you, and you're gonna just be a child, and you're gonna enjoy your childhood.
I would sit in different, like at church with my grandfather, or I would go certain places and I would look at different people, different women, and like the people and be like, dang, I wonder what my life would be if she was my mom. Or I said that was probably the closest thing I did to, but I never felt like she wasn't gonna get it. We were Christians. We always bounce back, so.
It is 7 of us. Well, 6, you know, my brother, who they say was my twin, we look alike, he died from kidney failure. You know, I have an older sister, her name is Diane, who keeps the family together. You know, she's one who do Christmas every year, and we go there and we talk about how grateful we are, you know, and she's like the grandmother and the mother of the family, you know, when, you know, you have a problem. She's another one that never have anything bad to say about anybody. You know, she's always seeing the good in each and every one of us, and she always push us, you know, to our limit. You know, she always say for us to follow our dreams. My relationship with Jonte's mother, Too Tall's mother, was really good. It was special. I used to steal her clothes because she was real fashionable. I would steal her clothes, and then when I would get to school, I would change into her clothes. But the way that she knew I was stealing the clothes, because I was kind of hard on shoes, I would steal her shoes too, and the heels would be gone. And, you know, because I would get the hand-me-downs, or my mother would pick them out, and I wanted to be fly, you know, so I would take Too Tall's mother clothes and I would change in school. But the relationship with her and I is really good because she's another one that stepped up to the plate. You know, when I was in active addiction, you know, would walk the courts in McCullough homes to find out where my daughter is, to make sure she was fed, you know, brought into her home, you know, because Kiera, Jonte, and her son Joe, they called Kiera their sister, you know, because they spent a whole lot of time, she spent a whole lot of time being a parent to her as well. As to her, as well as her 2 sons. So I love her. We're close too. Oh, Bubby. Bubby was another one. He stepped up and, you know, was that positive role model for Kiera. I remember he moved her in. He moved her in with his 2 sons and his wife, Nikki. And, you know, I have an opportunity. I never had an opportunity to tell him thank you, but I want to say thank you today. You know, I can remember, you know, when his kids got Jordans, they made sure Kiera had Jordans. You know, I guess it was the first time she was able to see a TV and it was cable, you know, because, you know, at my house, you don't pay the cable bill when you're smoking crack and doing heroin. And Sean, my boo, you know, she was another one. She is one of those that's soft-spoken. You know, I can remember stealing her high school ring. You know, and she's looking around for it, and I'm helping her look for it. And Dee Dee, the private investigator said, Cressy took it. I told you she was going to take it. And I did take her school ring, you know, but the way that I make amends now is that, you know, I'm kind. If she need me, you know, I'm there if I can be there, you know, but I love my family, you know. All my sisters and brothers has been there for me, you know, in some form or fashion. They have all been there for me, so.
I'm happy that they have that relationship, because a mother and a child relationship is one that you just should never take for granted. And I'm just happy that she has her mother back, you know, and no one, not me or anyone, was able to take Kiera from her mother. And, you know, and that was one of her biggest fears, that losing her daughter. And she never lost her daughter. And I'm just happy that she has her daughter.
I was in the computer and she was in the kitchen. She was making something. And I said, you know, if you get high, you'll never see Peyton again. And she was like, okay, I've been clean for like 9 years, but okay. But yeah, my biggest goal was that my son's not gonna have a childhood he has recovered from like I did. And I don't care if who I have to cut out his life to make sure that happens.
My guy Peyton is back with us, back on camera. Carressa, you know, this is your lovely grandson, and I know that he was a major part of just things that you were talking about the first time that we shot your first short story. And one of the things that really stuck with me was the fact that you said that one of the main reasons why you didn't go back to drug addiction was because your daughter Kiera said, listen, once she gave birth to Peyton, she said, if you want to have a relationship with your grandson moving forward, that you can't go back to drugs, or you'll be stripped of that opportunity. So just talk about that, you know.
You know, Peyton, yeah, he's my life. You know, Kiera told me that if I made a decision to go back out, that she said if you use, you lose. And I can't fathom my life without Peyton. I can remember when Peyton was born, it was so exciting because, you know, I was able to be there and support her, and I wasn't in the nod. And when he came out, my life changed drastically. The things that I wanted to do for Kiera as a child, I have an opportunity to do it for Peyton. You know, God gave me an opportunity to make amends through him for what I didn't do with Kiera. He's my life. He's my joy. On the days I think about using, I can't fathom. You know, Peyton saying when his granny, and she's telling him that, you know, maybe his granny did an overdose off of fentanyl, but I just can't fathom my life without him. This is my rock right here. You know, he's never seen his granny got the influence of alcohol and drugs, and if I keep doing what I'm doing, he'll never do it. You know, when he need me, he know where he can find me. You know, he have a house that he can come to, and it's not, you know, crack valves all over the place. You know, he got a safe place where he can play his wrestlers, and I love him to death. This is my life right here. I love him. You know, Kiera, you know, all I can do is apologize for that. I didn't even know where I was. You know, I have been smoking crack. Every dime that I got, I was taking in and out. So I wasn't even of myself. So, you know, the only thing I can tell you is that it won't happen again. You know, I know how I put you through a whole lot, you know. And, you know, I still, you know, it's so funny, my whole life I've been looking for validation. But, you know, the day I look for validation from you, I've told you that, you know, when you're angry, I try to fix it, you know, and you told me, you know, because I've been struggling a lot in relationships, and you told me, Ma, I need to be a child, and I need you to keep me out your relationships. You know, I'm sorry. That's all I can say is I'm sorry. And you know I love you, you know, a lot. You know, it was so funny when I found out she was pregnant. Of course, Dee Dee is the bearer of all bad news.
Yeah.
She called me, she said, what would you do if Kiera was pregnant?
She wasn't supposed to tell you.
Yeah, but she told me. I said, well, you'll be bailing me out of Women's Detention Center, because I can't believe that Kiera is pregnant. Then she said, well, she is pregnant. You know, but that was the greatest gift you could have given me. You know, to watch you to be a mother, the mother that I wanted to be for you. I see it all in you and Peyton. You know, as you notice, I don't, you know, bother you as much with Peyton when he's there, because the partner you pick, you know, I love her to death, and I know that, you know, that Peyton's safe. You know, I come to your house and it feels like home, something that I wanted to give you. You know, I come to your house, I sit there, I sleep, I'm comfortable, I'm safe, I'm relaxed. And what I like the most is that you make people respect my sobriety, and you do too. And, you know, I just love you so much, Geek. I know some days you don't like me and some days I don't like you, you know, but one of the gifts is that I love you on every day. On every day I love you.
I love you too. And I think the best thing your sobriety gave me is that I call on Dee Dee less now. Like when stuff is wrong, like even recently, when like about my BG&E bill or whatever, and I was like, and it's subconscious. I'm like, I need to tell my mom, but I don't want her to tell me, offer me money, because that's what she would do. You'd be like, I would just pay half of it. I don't want you to do that, but you did what you did. He was like, hold on, Boosie, I got it. Well, you don't call me Boosie. He was like, oh, hold on, Keek, I got it, and you fixed it. And it's like, it's cool now that I can, because at first it was like, my mama's gonna just be in a frantic. Let me call Dee Dee. She's rational. She can handle it. But I'm starting to call her less for problems. Because I can call her now and I just have a conversation and not add stress to her plate. I can give to you because you're my mom.
And you know what's different is that's called trust. You know, that you trust in my decision making.
Yeah.
And sometimes I struggle with my decision making. You know, I think Dee Dee have helped us both grow up, and I think she both have gave her that gift that, you know, well, our word is our bond. You know, she's taught me how to be a mother to you by watching her be a mother to you.
Yeah, she taught me how to be a mother to Peyton because we did so much stuff. Like every event that came in town on Dee Dee, we Harlem Globetrotters, Ice, Disney on Ice. Like she showed me that. She showed me a childhood. So. And
you know, I'm always indebted to her. And it's just so funny. She allowed me this weekend. You know, I got to hang out with Zaire and Zalia, you know, her great-grandchildren. Her grandchildren, I'm sorry. And I got to hang out with them, and that was just amazing, you know, just to watch how she's, you know, helping them grow up. And it was just amazing, you know. But Kira, I tell you, I look at you some days, I'm like, wow, you know, crackhead, dolphin like me made a product like you. You know, some days I look at you and we are so similar in so many ways. And then I beat myself up because some of the things that I do in my relationships are wrong. And I hope you understand that I don't want you to do it. You know, Dee Dee used to tell me a long time ago that, you know, the best thing to do in any relationship is to be honest. I struggle with honesty, but I've gotten better with that. You know, and then I want to tell you that the thing that I got from you the most was the courage. When I saw you walk away from a relationship that you didn't want to be in, and I was like, if she can do it, then I can do it, because sometimes I don't be brave. But you taught me how to be brave. You gave me a lot of courage this year.
People are imperfect, and I don't expect you, you're human, and me having a child even now realize how hard it is to be a good parent, be a good role model, do all that stuff. That's why, if anything, I just commend both of y'all for doing that. Like I always say, I brought it up, like, how could somebody early in sobriety drop their door, no network, come to Virginia Beach, has never been a parent to me, and become a parent at 3 without picking up? Without, like, it's never that. It's my biggest thing. I just want you to be authentic with me. Like, I want your feelings to be your feelings, because that's how we're going to grow. Like, you can't be how you think I want you to be. Be yourself, because at the end of the day, I love you, and whoever you are is who I'm going to love.
I don't know if I ever told you thank you, but I think every day I appreciate the sacrifices and the things that you did for me. And I don't mean about like just the sacrifices that you made, like having 2 kids, a single parent, and then taking me in. And not just taking me in, you took me in as your own. Like, if you stood as all we are, was clean, dressed the same way, but you just took care of me. And I just thank you, because I'm doing that now, and I see how much of if you don't want to do it in your heart, then I see how much of a struggle it can be. And just to know that you was that genuine, and you have been taking care of me throughout my whole life. And I just want to thank you, because most people say they're their family, but most people don't do that. And just thank you a lot. So.
And you're welcome. And I enjoyed being there for you, you know, and it was a joy to have you. I mean, and when your mom had you, we were that close, me and your mom. So it was just like, you know, when she asked me to be your godmother, it was just like, you know, wow, I have this, you know, baby that, you know, I'm going to be responsible for if something was to happen to, you know, the mother. And that's what, to me, being a godmother mean, you know, and going up there in front of, you know, having that ceremony and becoming your godmother. So, you know, that was just my role. Not as an aunt, as a godmother, you know, just, that was just the role. And then you were just such an awesome baby, you know. I was just like, oh my gosh, you know, my first love. You know, but I mean, you know, you don't have to thank me. That was just, you know, something that I know I needed to do. You know, and I would hope that anybody that's in that situation, whether it's an aunt, godmother, you know, would step up and do that. You know, that's just something you do for family. You know, when you know someone is in need. I'm just glad to see that you matured into the great mother you are with Pepe.
Thank you.
You know, and it just makes my heart, you know, full to see that, you know, all, you know, it didn't go unnoticed. So,
Yeah.
you know, but I enjoy seeing the mother that you have become with Peyton, and to know that it just didn't go all in vain. And then I just enjoy seeing the relationship that you and your mother have now. So, you know, it's just a blessing. It's just a blessing. You know, that Christian love is just strong. It's just strong.
Yeah, it is.
But, you know, like I said, you don't have to thank me. I'm just glad that I was able to be there to help you.
Yeah, because I
You
don't,
know, you need it.
I don't know how life would have been without you. It really would have been hard.
I love you. You know, just because you had that bump in the road doesn't mean that, you know, you're not worth anything. You know, we all have our faults, our flaws, but, you know, hey.
You gave my daughter opportunity at life. You gave her a different way to look at life. You know, through the life she was looking through my eyes was nothing but, you know, catastrophe. But, you know, when she got with you know, I saw, you know, this lady with integrity and grace. And sometimes I tell her now, you sound just like Aunt Dee Dee. You know, through her, from being with you, she able to tell me what she feel, and I still struggle with that, you know, and I have a hard time doing that. But I watch you, and you always say that, you know, you want to be like me, you know. I want to be just like you. I mean, you know, I'm never going to be marriage material. I'm never going to get married. I'm telling you that now. I'm not, I probably won't. You know, one thing about you is that you know me. And you accept me the way I am, and that's real difficult, you know, because I have a lot of things going on, but you never have said, you may give me your little, you know, spiritual, you know, guidance and stuff like that about honesty, and I still tell a lie every now and then. Oh, sometimes, all the time. Not really all the time, but, you know, I just want to tell you thank you, and I love you, you know.
I love you more.
Oh. You know, Helen, you know, it was really difficult for me to have friends because all my friends always wanted something from me. And you're the first friend that I have that don't want anything from me. All you want me to do is be happy, joyous, and sober. And it's real difficult to find people like that. You know, when I met you, I didn't like you. I didn't like you because you had too much mouth. But I wanted that mouth. I wanted to be able to tell people how I felt and don't worry about what they thought afterwards. But you done toned that down a lot, and I'm really proud of it because you're doing a good job with that. You know, you are one person to know everything about me. You know what I'm going to do before I even do it. Sometimes I think you're psychic, but I know you're not psychic. But I just love you to death. You know, the way that you know, you and Dee Dee are the only two people that I don't have any kind of resentment towards because of the role that you play, the mother role you play in my daughter's life. Because if it wasn't for you and Dee Dee, I don't know where Carol life would have ended up. You know, you have accepted me for me. You know, I got a lot of mess with me, but, you know, you still love me.
I love you because of who you are. And you are a very giving person. You'll give your heart away if you could just get it out there and give it to somebody.
I wouldn't give it to you.
I wouldn't want it because I know it's stale. So you don't have to worry about me wanting your heart.
I love you, I love you, and I love you.
And I love you too.
So, Carressa, I wanted to have everybody here for this particular part of the short story because this is your life now, right? Now, obviously, you have more family and friends that's not here right now, but this is your life, very family oriented now. Things are just doing extremely well going extremely well for you and for the family. And I know that Peyton, your grandson, is near and dear to you, and obviously your daughter Kiera and Dee Dee, of course. So just talk about how you feel right now, not just in this moment, but just in terms of your life right now, how things are going, and how important these people and your other loved ones, how important they are to you right now.
Really important, you know. We sitting on the steps and we just thinking that, you know, all these people, these are my foundation, they are my rock, you know, with the exception of my higher power, you know. But Peyton, you know, I love him dearly. My sister Dee Dee, and you know, have you have a sister that just don't judge you, that whatever you do, no matter whether it's right or wrong, she always have my back, you know. and Kiara. You know, I've took her through so much, and for her to, you know, still respect me and accept me as a mother, you know, just make my life today is beyond my wildest dreams. I never thought that I would have the relationship and the trust back. I can remember when my sister went out to sea, she asked me to take care of her 2 children who I love to death, Booty and Ikea. You know, I was so honored that she did that. I'm like, wow, she's gonna trust a crackhead and dolphin like me to go down there. And, you know, down there I became independent. You know, I got my license. I learned how to write checks, you know, the importance of saving, the importance of, you know, just taking care of me. So she helped me grow up once I got out of treatment, you know, and Kiara's always been there with me, you know. Today, you know, I'm the mother, and she's the child.
You guys swap roles.
Yeah, we done swap roles now. You know, sometimes I have to check her and let her know that I'm the mother and she's the child. You know, but the relationship that we have today is that, you know, every day I call her just to tell her I love her. I may call her too much, but who cares? You know, because at one time I couldn't call her and tell her I love her because she didn't know where I was at and I didn't know where she was at, you know. But today I can call her and tell her I love her. These people right here, I love them all. They always had my back, no matter what. You know, you haven't met somebody where you can just be yourself, you know, and I can be myself with them. You know, they love me for who I am. You know, we were joking today because I told them don't get no spots on their hoodies.
On their hoodies, yeah.
And my sister said something profound, which was really true. She said, we accept you for who you are, so let us be who we are. And today you can be who you are. So my life is good.
You know, Carressa, we put out an interview. Like after we did the first short story, we put out an interview where we sat down and kind of just did a summary of your life. And I called the story. I gave the story a title, "A Revitalized Life," because that's what your life is now. And I think this is like a perfect representation of that. So I just want to say I'm proud of you, and I'm going to continue to obviously support you and the people around you as you continue on your journey. Because you know the journey's not over yet. There's so many more great things that I know that you're going to do, and that your family's going to be right there to support you through it all. So.